Change. The word alone can be challenging. How do we get started? Where will the change lead? Don't sit there and worry about it. Be the change. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. Host Christina Bloom has been a professional psychic and spiritual advisor for 20 years, offering psychic and mediumship readings for individuals and groups. She also teaches several classes in psychic development and metaphysics. In addition, she is an author who has published 2 books so far and is the co-owner of Moonbow Publications and Productions, LLC. Are you ready for that change now? Here is your host of Be the Change Radio, Christina Bloom.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Be the Change Radio. I'm your host, Christina Bloom, and you are listening to us on WLTKDB.com, Paranormal Talk Radio. Thank you for being here this evening. I'm super excited. I'm always super excited because I love doing this. Like, seriously, radio's addictive. If you've not done it, you should try. It's fun. So I have a great guest with us tonight, a spiritual coach and a mindset coach. He does all kinds of really cool stuff, including I forget what he called it, a really cool farm anyway in northern Arizona. We're going to talk about that too. Sustainable living farm. Before we get that far, I just wanted to let you know that, hi, Robin, thanks for being here. Let's see, this coming Saturday, I will be at a psychic fair in Onalaska near La Crosse, Wisconsin. And I should have written it down because the name, Terry and Danny are putting it on. If you know them, you're in the know. So they're putting that on. And then the following, let's see, that's the first. On Sunday, the 8th, I will be at a psychic and wellness fair at DNA Hemp Farms outside of West Bend, Wisconsin. That'll be a whole lot of fun. We have a great show coming up after this. We have the Paranormal Room, and we'll be talking about encounters with animal spirits. So make sure that you join Logan and myself for that. That's going to be a lot of fun. We have a couple of really fun guests coming on for that one, so it'll be a good time. So I would like to bring out Raphael Fourmont. He is a spiritual, like I said, a spiritual counselor. He's got all kinds of fun stuff going on. And here he is. Raphael, you're live.
Hey, hi everybody. Hi, Christine.
Hi, Raph. How you doing?
Oh, great. Thanks for helping me with my tech issues and making me live.
You're welcome.
Hi, everybody.
You're welcome. So what do you got going on there? Tell us first of all about your farm. I want to hear about your farm.
Well, we had a great day today. We weren't home, but we like to connect with other people who are interested in permaculture. And so, you know, we love Mother Earth, Brenda and I. We love the other species, and we've just landed in Northeast Arizona. And what we do is we try to go, there's so many off-grid people up here. There are people that live on acreage and they maybe don't have a well, they're not connected to power. We have all that, but we've reduced our utility usage to where we're just using a little bit of electricity. But we have, you know, a greenhouse, what you call when they bury the greenhouses in the ground.
I was hoping you knew.
Yeah, I should, huh? And it's like half buried, but it helps maintain more of the Earth's temperature at 56 degrees plus, which is very important in the hot summer and the very cold winter, because we're at about 6,500 feet elevation here. So we have the greenhouse, we have a little orchard that's probably about 25 years old. We got 5 different kinds of, actually about 7 different kinds of fruit, mostly apples. And we have our gardens. And we have dairy goats, specifically dairy goats, because we are predominantly vegetarians. And so we have alpine and salmon, which are the highest in cream and protein. And we have little hens that run around, and the dogs run around, and all the animals get along great. and dogs protect the hens from the coyotes and so on. And we have a little hen named Henrietta, and she pretty much is the boss of the farm.
Okay.
She's the guy in charge. Yeah, and that's
Awesome.
what we do here. Grow as much food as we can as possible. And then we support some of the local animal rescues with goat milk, which is great if you have a sick animal or even a sick baby. The goat milk is much easier to digest.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. I didn't know
Yeah,
the goat was somehow, I mean, I guess I never, it comes from a different animal, so I knew it was different than cow's milk, but yeah, it would be a little easier to digest, wouldn't it? Interesting.
for some reason it is. And I wrote an article with a naturopath about that. That it's actually at this point wallapini. That's what it is. Thank you, Brian. A wallapini is a half buried um, greenhouse.
Oh,
And
okay.
it's very important when it's like 10 below zero.
I'll
Yeah,
bet
I
it
mean, it's
is.
Arizona, but it sure gets cold here. Yeah, so we grow as much food as we can, and we support some of the local communities. I mean, other farms. And like today, we went out. I went hiking with a young man who I was showing him some of the archaeology on his property. It's 200 acres. If you're in Arizona, you have archaeology here. Some of the very old cultures here. And then his wife was helping Brenda learn how to make goat cheese.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
feta. Oh my gosh, I've always heard it was so easy. But you know how we're all afraid of change in some areas of our life,
Yeah,
and when you hear something's easy, it's like, yeah, it's easy if you know how to do it. You know, it's
exactly.
easy to learn how to be a vegetarian. It's easy to make goat cheese, right? But gosh, and then you just do it. You just take action, and change becomes part of your habit, your
It
lifestyle.
does. Well, everything is going to change anyway, so you might as well learn to flow with it. I just wanted to say hi to Nikki and to, I don't know who you are, it says Facebook users, but good evening to you too. Thanks for being here. If you have any questions for Raphael, he's got the permaculture farming going on, but you have a lot of other stuff going on too, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it's been an interesting life. It's not been a comfortable life, and that's part of change is getting out of your comfort zone. And it's been very interesting. I've been attracted to this area of Arizona, and years ago when just before I left ABC, and they asked me, "You want to go to Arizona?" I like, yeah, I'd love to. That's where so many mysteries come from here. And in 2009, Christina, I pretty much lost everything. I lost my newspaper. I left the farm to my last great relationship, up in Montana. I lost my newspaper down here. And I was just driving out in the desert past John Wade's old ranch, 26 Herefords, and thinking there's got to be more in life than chasing money. There's got to be more out there. And I remember my father's words telling us, the only thing that has any innate value is our spirit. And it's the least thing we pay attention to. And I'm thinking, I'm leaning over my truck. And then that's when it happened. I had my first visitation. And from 2009 to 2019, I was working with the South Koreans over in Sedona and some of Ilchi Lee's friends, leader of the International Sun Tao, a very powerful man, in the sense that he can definitely move energy. He is definitely a master of energy. And his friends, some visitors, we worked closely with Neil Donald Walsh and other spiritual writers. And, it's been quite a journey. It's been a real journey. But what I was mostly distracted, is that a good word? By is all the things that were happening between 2009 and 2019. I just a whole plethora of very unusual spiritual events. Um, and I was told by, I guess, my spirit guide, when I was screaming, "Why is this happening? Why are you showing me these things? Why are all these things happening that I don't understand? I don't know what to do with." And the answer I got, very loud and vehement, was because you keep asking. So be careful what you ask for, folks, because
Yeah,
change is, yeah, the fourth
agreed.
dimension is really here. And so I went on another journey in 2019 of 3 years and just spending thousands and all my resources in trainings. How can I help? How can I help the spiritual change that is coming? And all the events that happen to us, all these visitations, um, manifestations, wow, all these incredible things that they don't tell you about when you're a child. Because some of us,
Yeah.
Christine, as you know, a lot of us had spiritual awareness when we were a child, but it was suppressed. It was suppressed perhaps by our schools, our parents, the therapists that we were sent to. And for like me, it went away. And I've talked to you about that. For you, it's sustained through your life. But now's the time. I'm meeting a lot of ex-corporate, disillusioned corporate people who who were not living our value in corporate. We're getting away from that, and a lot of us are having a spiritual awakening. And for some of us, it's really in a big way. We're offered a spiritual path, and it's up to us whether to accept it or not. And one thing that's very dominant that I learned from the South Koreans working with them over in Sedona, where they became aware that I was obviously, I could feel energy. I had different things going on. So they recruited me, they enrolled me, and I became an instructor, Meridian Exercise for self healing and Tai Chi Ki-Gong, which is South Korean version of moving energy through your body. And I learned that we are energy and we can move our energy and we can play with our energy. And you and I, Christina, had talked, right, about a topic today. And the topic was, what a beautiful topic, was love. How to spread, how important it is to spread the love energy throughout the world.
Right. And the strength of love. That was the thing that you had written down that really hit me, was how strong love is. Like, love is strength. And to me, that is just the most amazing thing, is that we have been pretty much, in this society that just doesn't even honor love at all, almost, except between couples. There's that honoring of love, but it's just amazing how important love is, as that's what's going to save all of us, is love eventually,
And how powerful it is.
Yeah.
It's a powerful energy. It's a powerful emotion. If we look at the levels of emotion, we start off with the lower levels of emotion, a very negative energy. We start with fear, shame, guilt. We rise to anger, which is a stronger energy because it really starts to move then. But what is anger? Anger is a secondary emotion. And the primary is fear. And
Right.
and look, now we live in cultures that are being controlled and live in fear, and that fear is a base energy and it's not helping anybody. And so if we all practice, and I am no better than anybody else, no judgment. I've had a rough life, but I've learned, and the Koreans taught me, that fear is it's very powerful. Love is a very powerful energy, and fear is very base, a very low energy. So
Right.
all the people, look at all our friends around the world who are afraid right now. They're afraid for their economy. They're afraid for their safety. They're afraid what is going to happen next. And we're being pushed into fear by media, by politics, and by religions. Forgive me. And which is why I got away from television, is because I hated my job. I was going against my values. This is not helping. It's not always the media that's lying to you. It's with what they're presented with. And,
Yeah.
the message is just like, look, I got to be in Paris by 6. I'm just doing the spot. I don't care if it's real or not, and I'm like, this is wrong, And
Yeah.
so I got out in 2005, threw my TV out the window, 2005, 2006, and I just got out. I said, I'm done. I got my gag order. I got my severance, because I saw what was going on in a lot of areas. And it's not real.
Yeah. I want to say hi to Tristan. Tristan popped in with us, and Nikki wanted to give you kudos. She said, ooh, plethora is definitely one of my favorite words. It's so underused because you
Well,
had used it earlier. Plethora or
oh,
plethora. I'm not sure how you pronounced it. Yeah,
what a good word. I love it.
I know. Isn't it a great word? And Tristan said, dude, speaking the truth.
Totally.
Yeah.
And to me, the truth is our strength, our hope lies in coming from a place in love. No matter where we came from, no matter what's happened to us, if we come from a place of love, as my friend, also psychic over in Jersey, Maria Catuso, says, opening our heart instead of closing our heart when somebody passes or tailgates us, to open our heart and come from a place of love rather than fear. And, because fear turns into anger, which is a
Right.
form of control. We're fearful of some loss of security. So if we put out love, then it is a much powerful. It's right, Katrina, because Christina, it's a much more powerful tool.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
do you remember the tuning fork trick where you've got the guys on stage or the person on stage has a A B C D E F G whatever tuning forks, and if you take another tuning fork, say you take the C and you ooh, 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 yeah C, and you play the C note, guess what? The C fork on the stage starts humming a little. It
Okay.
reacts. The density of that metal reacts to that vibration. So we're talking about frequency, vibration. So since love is a much higher consciousness, emotion than fear, guilt, shame, there's no place in our heart for guilt and shame, my friends, right?
Yeah.
And so if we rise to love and we open our heart and put that out, then it doesn't mean we still have to have our boundaries, right?
Mhm.
You can't be people pleasers like I was a lot of my life.
Me too.
Angry,
Yeah.
yeah,
I think we givers are naturally kind of people pleasers when we're put in that situation. It's easy to go from love to people pleasing, and then people pleasing is not loving ourselves, so it's pretty counterproductive.
it doesn't serve us
Yeah,
or anybody else.
exactly.
That's for sure. It's kind of like a bad form of communications.
It
It's
is.
it's not good for relationships. But so if we set boundaries without judgment, this is the way I've had to accept it because I've had a rough life. I've had a rough beginning. I was given a second chance when I was a young man. I had awful things happen to me. It was a self-defense issue. I had a hung jury. I was sent to prison. This was back in 1988. I was 27 years old. I was then released by the state of Washington, the governor. I met the governor. They gave me because I ran away from my home. There's nothing in my home worth hurting somebody over.
Mhm.
And my attackers caught me and I was forced to defend myself. And so I was released and I was given a scholarship to Seattle University, a private Jesuit. Thank you. I was given a chance. And I want to tell anybody out there, I don't care what you've been through. I'm not judging anybody. So when we get fearful and it turns into anger and we try to control our situation, we can open our hearts to people and realize they're just going through their journey,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Everybody's going through their journey. And that's tough. I know because I'm rotten. I'm such an emotional person.
Yeah, me too. It's all good. It's all good. We have some comments here that I wanted to share. Nikki said, absolutely. Putting out love instead of fear will bring you more love. Like attracts like. Putting out fear will only attract more fear, and no one needs more of that. Oh, that is so true. Yeah. Tristan said, yes, we are all people pleasers here. Just tell the truth, and everything is better in the end, in my humble opinion. And Tristan is an amazing. Well, Nikki is too, but Tristan is just an amazing young man. He lives down south in the Bible Belt, and he is just this light, this enlightened light in the Bible Belt. It's a beautiful thing. I'm so glad we've become friends. So yeah, I just wanted to share that because they both had some good things to say here. So I wanted to share that. It's pretty impressive that so many people in so many different places are all waking up at this time. And I don't even like the phrase waking up, but I can't think of a better way to say it. You know what I mean? It's like, I wish I got to work on that. I got to find a better way to say that. But so many people just opening their eyes and going, oh, it doesn't have to be this way. It doesn't
Right.
have to be the way it's been. So we can focus on love, and we can invest in love, and we can share love. And, it's amazing how, like, if you're kind of in a grumpy mood and then you run across somebody who's just beaming love, all of a sudden you feel better. You just feel better. And if we can just feel better, one person at a time, we can do this, right?
Aren't
Pretty
you glad?
simplistic.
Aren't you glad you have those people in your life?
I
I'm
am.
thinking like Moira Hutchinson, who's on our Facebook page, Healthy Body Home. And she's a Scottish woman up in Newfoundland. And she's always, for years now, she helped me when I first reached out. And for years, she's just been a really good example of always being positive. And she set a good example for me. And she sets that example. So we can set that example. And again, that love is such a powerful emotional consciousness.
Yeah.
And it's much stronger than fear, anger. So if we can learn as much of us as possible, and with the synergy of all of us, learn to be non-judgmental about other people's journey, especially when you're doing the speed limit and they pass you and say, "You're number one," driving by you. It's getting a little crazy out there on the streets of Arizona. But then
not
we
just
can,
Arizona. I'm just going to put that little plug in there. It's not just Arizona.
no, everyone says other places. You okay, this place or that place.
Yeah.
But no, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's right wherever you are.
Yeah.
Remember a couple of years ago when people all over the world, was that your experience, Christina, when people in other countries, in other states were saying, I just want to get out of here. I want to come over there to America or to Canada or to this state. And I was telling them, it doesn't matter. It's like that everywhere. Everybody's afraid right now.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just, get grounded with your own heart and learn gratitude for everything you have. Even if you're living in Manhattan and working in a gas station and I'm remembering a conversation I had with a young man last week, and everybody's treating you like crap. Start being having gratitude. And I talked about that with you, Christina, about going outside. Okay, I was talking about a blade of grass, but I just mean with nature, connecting with nature.
Right.
And being grateful. I am so grateful for our place here. It used to be a goat farm. It's been a mess. I've been cleaning it up for years before I moved over from Sedona. But I am so grateful. I love where we live. I love our life. I love my partner Brenda so much because we're growing together and we care about Mother Earth and everything that we're grateful for. Those people in our lives that are so positive, that are so full of love, that we used to hate.
Tristan said, I need more of you in my life. I think he's talking to both of us. Robin said, it's difficult to drive anywhere without getting angry, but we have to try harder to show love to others. And, I think that's true. And honestly, like, all my dark side comes out behind the wheel. That's where I really get frustrated. But, I think a lot of it is because we're just afraid for our own safety, right? We're afraid for our own safety. We're afraid for the safety of those around us. That I think that's where the road rage comes from. It's like we're just so afraid of somebody hitting us or getting run off the road or something like that. And it's easier to respond in anger than it is to respond in fear when you're driving.
And it's also a matter of control because we're afraid of losing control. When somebody has a little crazy around us, tailgates us, passes us, cuts us off, then perhaps we're afraid of we feel we're being disrespected, and then that there's that control issue. So we got to watch that because fear, anger, control, they're just the three horsemen.
Oh, absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
you mentioned something. One of the gentlemen you said made a comment about talking about having, people in their lives, having
Yeah.
more people in their lives.
Yeah.
So, environment. I call that environment. Environment is key. Environment, my friends, will trump everything.
Yeah.
I like to say to tell my clients, if you hang around 10 drug users, chances are you're going to become the 11th.
Right.
So choose your friends wisely.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're going to take a quick break and we will come back and talk more about love. Yay!
Yeah, yeah.
The truth is here and now on WLTKDB Talk Radio at WLTKDB.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Patty Negri.
Hi, I'm Pete Orbea.
Hi, this is Nicole Strickland.
My name is Hero.
My name is Sean Clem.
Hey everybody, Cleet Keith here, author of Ghost of Greystone Beverly Hills. I'm excited to invite you to the OC Paracon, which is going to be the first week in October.
Now that's just some of the people you're going to meet at Orange County Paracon. That would be Anaheim's first ever paranormal conference. I'm Henry, the organizer and also the host of Paranormal Perception, inviting you to meet those people that you just saw. You'll meet everybody, including some guests, some people that we haven't even announced on the website. It's going to be a surprise. Everything, info, tickets available on that website, ocparacon.com. Hope to see you to kick off our favorite time of the year in Anaheim at OC Paracon.
Take us with you on the go and download the new WLTK DB mobile app. Search the App Store and Google Play under WLTK DB Talk Radio. Download free today. The unexplained. It's all around us and usually supplies more questions than answers. You need answers. You need Cross Country Paranormal. Founded by Benjamin Young, CCP seeks to train, educate, and mentor anyone that has a passion for the paranormal. CCP is building a network of teams and investigations across the country, and all experience levels are welcome. Learn more about CCP on their website, ccpinvestigations.com, where you can find frequently asked questions, check out their equipment, follow their latest events, and of course, shop. Visit them now at ccpinvestigations.com. That's ccpinvestigations.com. Cross Country Paranormal. All are welcome. All are family.
This is WLTK-DB Talk Radio.
Welcome back, everyone. It's 32 minutes past the hour. I am here with Raphael Fourmont, and we are talking about love and how it's going to save us all. We just got to get on board. We just got to get everybody on board with love, and it will save us all, because hate hasn't worked so far. Maybe it's time to try something new, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get on board. And it's a habit. And I think a lot of us have learned as we grow older, and I'm in my 60s, I won't tell you how old, but as we grow older, we learn that habits come and go, and we must maintain that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. Sometimes it is really, let's just talk about, like sometimes it's really hard to walk in love. Sometimes it's hard to show love to people who are not being kind to other people, or not being kind to animals, or not, you know what I mean? It's like the love has to be big enough to heal people. And that's really where we're getting to. Individually, I feel like it works really well. When we're talking about a whole society or a whole planet, it gets a little more complicated, only because there's more space to cover. There's more, more issues for love to surround and heal. It becomes more complicated because there's more involved. It doesn't mean it can't be done.
Yeah, and I think there are some really good teachers out there that we could learn from, how to deal with situations, whether it's an individual or it's a social movement. I feel there's some really good teachers that we may not agree with everything that they with all their values or their beliefs, especially
Right.
because I feel like a lot of us who are spiritual don't really have beliefs. We have experience. But
Yes.
we learn how to deal with individuals and societies. I think Peter Sage is a good teacher about that because he had an experience like I did. He was sent as a civil infraction in the UK. He was sent to prison for like 6 months, one of the worst prisons in the UK, and he had no business being there, like I did, in self-defense issue, and was released. But he learned to deal with those harsh environments, to deal and to talk to people. Hey, you know what? We can all get what we want. We're speaking the same language. We're just using different words.
Yeah.
And so, if we keep, I mentioned Maria Gattuso, and I had her on a podcast back in October in my summit, and she was talking about opening your heart. And when you feel fear or loss of control or some form of loss of security, we close our heart. And then we go into, if we try to regain control, we might use anger. So, about practicing, right, keeping our heart open. And I've had some really good teachers, and we've talked about that, right? There's really good
Yeah.
examples in life. There's
There are.
people who love. I was very grateful. I was very blessed to have Anna Macari from Sattafrat in Italy. I think where my mother's family probably came from, somewhere back the line there. But she was my assistant in Sedona, and Anna was one of those amazing. I feel like our higher selves, our spirits, are helping each other learn different things. And Anna was teaching me, and I was a terrible student. To be non-judgmental and to keep your heart open. And Anna was one of those amazing people, Christina. You could look right in your eye and just smile and wouldn't even bat her eyes, and you could be talking about the dumbest thing in the world, and she would just smile. It's like as if to say, like, I know, like I'm listening to you, but I'm really meditating and haven't heard a single word you've said.
I've
So
been guilty of that. Just saying. I've
Have you
been
been?
guilty.
But she was so non-judgmental, and that's what I love about my partner Brenda, who is Dene, and we call them Navajo. The elders call themselves Dene, the people, and Zuni clan, and she's very non-judgmental. She works for the local post office. Her customers love her. She loves everybody, and her spirit is a good example. So if we look for those people in our life, then they can give us validation. They can give us the strength to go on with our heart open. It's just a practice,
It
Christina,
is.
and
It is.
that's a battle for you and the people you meet. I mean, it has for me in my life.
Yeah, it's been challenging at some point in my life. I do want to share a couple of comments here. Tristan said it has become a learned habit for sure. Speaking of hate, generations of hate has to stop. I really hope it slowly starts going to more love and less a-holes in the world. That's what he wrote. So that's what I read. And Nikki said, it's like war. You usually vote for one side, believing one side is good and one side is bad, but that's all a matter of perspective. On the other side is another person like you who feels the same feelings, believing you're the bad one and they're siding with the right side. I love having conversations with non-judgmental people. You learn so much. I agree. I agree completely with everything that was said here. The generations of hate, I really feel like that's being addressed right now. I really feel in many cases that is being addressed right now. Stopping the generations of hate that we have all lived with, at certain times.
It's like forms of separatism. I condemn I'm not patriotic because I don't want to say I'm us and they're them. I don't want to push people away. I don't want to exercise separatism. So I'm not political. I'm not religious. I've got away from the media, but I think of it as separatism, and that's just not cool. It's just not acknowledging that we are all one. We are of the same energy. We are connected. We're continuing to say, even supposedly, like religion is supposed to be a heart loving thing from faith, from a higher power or whatever. But if you don't believe what I believe, then wow, you can get under the gun real quick. And that has been my
Yeah,
experience.
mine
And
too.
so, yeah, I mean, it's like we love when it brings people together, but we don't when it tears them apart.
Hmm.
Separatism, them, all the different forms of duality and bifurcation of man, different countries. I love everybody in every country. And this is really, I'm glad that the gentleman brought that up, a-holes, because that's a label that we
Hmm.
put on somebody who is doing something we don't approve of.
Yeah,
And we don't need to worry about what other people think about us, for one. And we don't need to worry about what they do because that has nothing to do with us. If somebody's
right.
being an a-hole, which I'm going to Google later and see what that means, but
Well, I didn't say the whole word. I hyphenated.
well, I'll Google it and get back to you. But that's when we're pointing the finger, but it's
Yeah,
somebody who is reacting in a manner that we find offensive, and it happens all the time. But
yeah,
that's when we have to say we don't know where they are in their journey. You know the story about the guy tailgating you. You don't know if your child is in the hospital.
right.
You know, but now, right now, there must be a lot of children in the hospital.
I'm thinking you're right. Yeah, because there's a lot of tailgating going on. Yeah, that is, and that's really one of my pet peeves. And it's because, you know what, there's plenty of street go around me, but I actually do pull over and let people who are tailgating go because maybe they do have something going on that I'm not aware of.
So there you go.
If I
You've
can
taken
safely
it on.
pull off the road and let them go past me, I do that. I don't know what's going on in their life. Maybe there is an emergency I don't know about,
Right.
you know?
And I saw somebody, a fellow coach was posted something on our site, and I took it off. But he was saying something about if you don't like the way I'm behaving, it's because of the actions that you're taking. So blame yourself. I'm like, that's a really skewed perspective
Yeah,
because what
interesting.
other people do has nothing to do with us. If somebody doesn't like you, it has nothing to do with you.
Exactly.
And we don't have to worry about whether somebody likes us because you know what? And I love this because Peter Sage taught me this is everybody is the star of their own movie and you're just an extra. So don't worry about what they think of you. And guess
That's
what?
right.
You're the star of your movie.
Yeah.
And Christina, my message to the world, what I've been shown when I've actually seen people's higher spirits for a few seconds. I've seen their higher self. My message to everybody is you're more beautiful and more powerful than you may have ever imagined. And so it's you. Don't look for other people to be the change.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
One of the things that I learned years and years and years ago is, what other people think of me is none of my business. And
Yeah.
that is absolutely something that I have held on to because I think it was, I don't want to misquote, but I think it was Eleanor Roosevelt who said, if you realized how little people actually think of you, you wouldn't be so concerned about what they think of you.
Yeah,
And I
beautiful.
love that. Let's see. Robin said, that's so true. She was responding to something we said, but I don't remember what it was. And Tristan said, yes, this is definitely better than any church session. And I can agree with that because we are so much more relaxed. And Nikki said, I love that. I'm a star. And then, of course, Robin's response was, yes, you are. Because
Yes,
Robin
you
is,
are.
what you don't know is that Robin is Nikki's mom. So,
Oh,
yeah. So,
isn't that amazing? That's a
yeah.
really good
Tristan with
example.
truth. Yeah.
Our children.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, cut out there a minute. Our
Go ahead.
children,
I stopped talking.
we have unconditional love for our children. That's something we can look at as an example. What if we saw that we are truly connected, and if you throw your TV out the window and you be present, then things will begin, perhaps when you learn to be present and get out of your thoughts, get out of your head, things may start happening. You may start seeing things that other people in total third dimension will not experience, perhaps in their lifetime. You can start experience the fourth dimensional bridge into the fifth, which is what my book, It's Time for You to Rewrite Your Life, is all about. But you'll start seeing how everything is energy. You remember Einstein said, he was attributed to having said, either everything is a miracle or nothing is. Was he talking to energy? Everything is of the same energy.
I
So
believe he was, but that's my interpretation. Yeah.
I mean, I kept asking myself that. So we look at how people look at their children. Right now, my daughter's mad at me. She's not talking to me. Okay. And that's okay. I don't care what she does. I will love her unconditionally. She's my child. And I held her when she was a baby. So if we think about everybody being on their journey and acting like a brat, perhaps forgive them and just smile and say, I know I look like I'm listening, but I'm really meditating.
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that.
Love it. I heard that, Christina, what you said about it's none of my business.
Yeah.
What other people think about that. When I first heard that years ago, it just kind of irritated me. But I definitely get it. Yeah. So that's an example of how looking at our child, unconditional love, how we can get into the habit, and we, with our synergetic force, can put this very powerful consciousness energy of love and joy. And wow,
makes such a difference.
Yeah, we can overpower.
Yeah.
We can overpower the fear. Love over fear. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And totally.
Ashley will love that. Okay. Tristan was talking about his wife. He said I need to use the meditating thing. Ashley will love that. Okay. Ashley is Tristan's wife. About him meditating. Yeah.
Oh.
Well, we have just about a minute left here. We have to cut out a little bit early because I do have another show right after this one.
Cool.
The paranormal room is right after this one, and we will be talking with people who have had paranormal experiences with animal spirits. So, yeah, so we're going to be talking about that one. So you got about 30 seconds, Raphael. What would you like to share with us?
Oh, I just want to reiterate once more that if you could see what I've seen, if you could see my friends who are listening, who are watching, I mean you, whoever you are, if you could see your true self, if you could see how beautiful and how powerful your higher self is, don't judge your experience. Christina, you taught me that, not to judge my experience with our friend Uthra. Thank you. Thank you, Christina.
Welcome. You're welcome.
And all of you, I love you. Let's rock.
Love you too. Let's do it. It is time to change the world. All right, everybody. Thank you, everyone who tuned in, everyone who listens on replays. And thank you, Raphael, for being here with us tonight and helping us spread the love. Very much appreciated.
Bye.
Bye-bye.